Hello, cosmic friends. This is Carlene Seld with Interstellar Chats with my other co-hosts here. We have Kristen Anderson and James.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm so glad that you're here with me today, and we get to talk about dreams. We're going to talk about dreams again today because last time we were all over the place. We were all over the place. So we're going to try to be very focused so that you don't get lost or upset with us. So we want to just be talking about some dreams today. And really, I think what we're going to touch on is, and we can, of course, keep this fluid and go whichever direction we want to go. But I think for the most part, we want to start again with the texture of dreams, right? And what that feels like when we're having a real multi-dimensional experience as opposed to processing the stuff from the previous day or week or what have you, where we just have stuff that comes in almost randomly, right? We're just processing images and stuff, and it doesn't even feel the same. What do you guys think? Does it feel the same for you? I know it doesn't. Absolutely feels different for me.
All of my dreams, I feel like I had a series of UFO dreams that feel different. I recognize the dream when I'm in the dream because of how it feels to me in the dream. And I hear you saying texture, and I think that some people might resonate with discernment. What does it feel like in your dream for you? And I've noticed that I do have different dreams that feel different ways. Like I said, my UFO dreams, and then I've had a series of other dreams before, and I recognize them instantly because I'm like, oh, I'm here again. I don't always even recall all of the dreams, but I do when I'm having the dream. But that's just, I don't know.
Right. So I have a number of different dream-like experience that definitely have a different feeling. One is, we talked about recurring dreams last time. That sort of anxiety dream where I just can't get where everyone else is going and I feel stopped. That feels very much like just a dream. Then there was the dreams that I literally feel like I'm somewhere else. I was in that little house talking to these women and it didn't feel right. It felt like there was an undercurrent of, I don't want to say danger, but sort of like maybe not on the level. Maybe a little sneakiness was happening. And that was a very visceral feeling. There have been other dreams where it's an actual communication from somebody else, where it literally looks, and this is where the texture comes in for me, it looks like a relief drawing. There's no actual color. It's more like, I guess it would be more like sacred geometry, like a relief map, but there's a person standing there and they're talking to me. And those actually are definitely communications. And some of them were from people who are alive on the planet today and communicated to me weeks later about the thing that was communicated in the dream. Right. But there's a texture to that that's like a relief drawing, like an outline of somebody, like maybe something you'd see, not necessarily with a black light, but It was definitely white. It was white on black. The relief being the white part.
Mhm.
Not
So more
sharp.
like a shadow or a figure or something is coming to you?
Oh yeah, it was an actual person. Like you could
Wow.
see the person.
But with no
Uh,
detail, it was more fuzzy or blurry?
It wasn't necessarily fuzzy. It was like a line drawing,
Oh, okay.
like a relief map, like Braille, I would say. It was like a Braille image of a person.
Mhm.
You could see all the detail and you knew who it was, and the voice was there,
Yeah.
but the texture of it. Oh, this is Kitty Munchkin. Hi, say hi. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, there she is.
Aw.
Kitty Munchkin.
Kitty Munchkin. She's been known to channel some beings.
Mhm.
Yeah, so and then there's a third one for me, which is the portal. And I don't know, I've read about this, but I haven't actually talked to anybody else who's had that sort of visual where you're looking through a porthole and everything around it is black, and through the hole you can see who you're speaking to.
I've never had that.
It's
Yeah.
sort of like they come up to you through like this porthole. I don't know how else to explain it.
So this is very interesting. And I'm gonna say that as many people over the years that I've talked to about dreams and texture of dreams and what feels different, like it's an actual experience compared to just processing images, you know, and the garbage from previous days or what have you. It definitely feels like, first of all, our individual experience is all different. It's not right, it's not wrong, it is our experience. And we can change that experience on the fly. Have you had that happen for you?
Well, because of you, I have. Because remember when you told me about your stress dream that you had and how you got control in your dream,
Mhm.
and you basically you told me that you were having a stress dream. Please tell your dream if you can remember. But basically you told me we're having a stress dream, and then you got control in your dream and either like pulled the mask off of the person or something like that. And I was having a terrible, terrible stress dream. And there was this figure that I felt afraid of. And I reached forward and I grabbed its face and I just pulled, and it didn't feel real. It didn't, yeah, it was like, oh, this is nothing. This is not real. And that has only happened a couple of times, being able to actually have that control in my dream before. So that's, very different from my usual dreams.
So I have to jump in here for a second because I'm very psychic and I'm getting this message and a confirmation, like literally at the same time, that I need to say beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are always in control. And
Yes.
we can, if we fear or we feel fear or anything that is kind of in that negative sense or set of emotions that gives us anxiety or what have you, we can literally change it by, of course, our discernment, but by recognizing that that's exactly what it is and physically changing it, right? Using our brain and our heart or whatever emotion wants to come up to literally change it and shift the direction. And this is happening for most people, and I want to say we're waking up, right? We use that term a lot. We're waking up because we're being literally biologically activated to wake up to our power that we have been shut down for eons, right? And now this is just an amazing time where we can be like, I don't want to feel this. I'm going to change it right now. And literally do that, right? We just shift it and go in a different direction. And when we do that, we can not only change the direction of our dream or our multidimensional experience. And when I say that again, like it's knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's more than a dream, it's an actual experience. And being able to know that these human bodies are multidimensional, and we can have these experiences while we are awake and while we're asleep. It just happens to be easier for most people while we're asleep, because our conscious mind is taking a break and allowing us to literally use our other powers, right? You feel that? Are you noticing that?
Well, I like after you had mentioned to me that you took control in your dream, and I did take control in my dream, I've noticed that I don't, because I used to be plagued with terrible nightmares, and where I really felt like I was being attacked, and I just don't have that now. And when I did have a bad dream, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this, but thanks, and I can pull myself out of it.
That's excellent. I think we really need to get that message out to more people, that there's, whether you're feeling fear, anxiety, or just lost or out of touch or out of place, or just feeling like you're rudderless or what have you, it's all within our control. Nothing else has power over us unless we give it power, right? So I think the biggest point that I want to say is there's two things, actually. We have, beyond a shadow, we know that the bad ETs, the dark ETs, the entities that have been suppressing humankind and keeping us in fear and anger and all the bad emotions, mind control stuff, they're gone. So now that they're expelled from this solar system, and you guys, if you're just brand new to me and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just do a little research, Google it, and we're going to talk about it like you already know. We're not going to go back to the beginning and talk about the super beginning baby steps of being multidimensional, because you just need to wake up, right? So I have to say that you just do a little bit of work to get yourself to where you feel comfortable with this terminology, right? Otherwise, this is probably not the channel for you.
So have you had a lucid dream before, because for me, sometimes I would have dreams that I didn't know were dreams, and I would literally wake up in bed and lay there, look around, get up, go about my day. And so it was really hard to distinguish whether or not it was a dream or not. And one way that I personally learned when it would start to go south, maybe in a lucid dream for me, I would realize that I'd look around my room, and I picked up a book, and I opened the book, and I can't read. Supposedly, when you're dreaming, when you're lucid dreaming, you can't read. That's not the part that part of your brain is not happening. And so you can't see whether or not those are words. And so at least that's what it was for me. So when I opened the book, I couldn't read, and I knew I was in a dream. And so from that point, I was able to, get myself out of it. But I don't know, has anyone else had like a lucid dream where you're just in your dream and it's happening?
Yeah. So
How do you get out of it?
again, with those anxiety dreams that I used to have about, being in a large group of people and traveling through a tunnel or up a mountain or over a narrow bridge that was like a thread, and everyone's going, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that. Sometimes I would remember that it's a dream and wake up in the dream, but it was still a dream. but I'd be like, oh, I'm dreaming. And that's the lucid part, right? You become aware that you're
Exactly.
dreaming, and you're like, oh, wait, this is just a dream. I can do whatever I want.
Mhm.
And you know what I always want to do in my dreams, which is probably everybody feels the same. Fly,
Bye.
Yeah.
fly,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Because flying is absolutely amazing. And so there would be moments sometimes, I mean, this only happened a handful of times, because I feel like when I go into that dream state, I totally just check out. And I worked on, begging for lucidity for years. But sometimes it would happen and I would wake up and be like, oh, I'm dreaming. I am so going to fly right now. I'm going to fly over this bridge and I'm going to pass everybody,
Mhm.
and I would, and it would be amazing. But I still consider, even though that was a lucid dream, I still consider that to be a dream and not a communication.
Mhm.
Definitely the flying resonates because I think it's representative of freedom, our sovereignty, right? That we are in full control, and if we want to fly, we can. And yes, I fly in my dreams all the time, right? And that first time that happened was when I was a kid, and I told you guys about that in the last episode. But we're again, this really truly comes down to, what do you want? What do you want to do? Because we can do it. We can do that here in our awake state, and absolutely we can do it when we're sleeping. So it's I feel like it really just is practice, right? We have to practice being multidimensional. And when we
Yeah.
talk about meditation or yoga or even prayer and solitude, that's a practice. So if we can just get into the habit of practicing what it is we truly want, we can have it all. We can have it all.
Yeah. And I feel like, since you reiterated that, the dark ETs are gone and there is less of a need to actually protect.
Yes.
And we have been in a place of needing to protect for so long
Yes.
that we're in this place now of expansion, which can feel real. I mean, one, it's completely unknown, right? And it can feel very scary. So now it is, just like you were saying, the practice of pushing out and expanding more and knowing that it's safe to do that. That's our new challenge, is moving into this place of feeling safe while we're doing these things.
Mhm.
And
That
knowing
is
that,
such a huge point, right? I'm so
yeah,
glad you're making that point. And I think that as we continue with these discussions, we need to keep saying this, right? Because we are in a place where we no longer have to be so concerned about protection. Yes, we want to make sure that, whatever is still lingering, because there are some, darkness that's still attached to people in a sense, because there are
yes,
hybrids out there. So
yes,
let's not be silly. Don't walk out in front of a car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's not do silly things, but we do need to know that we don't have to be so energetically protected and locked down where we're prohibiting or restricting our expansion, right? So if we can
yeah,
actually let it go a little bit and relax into our multidimensionalness, our abilities,
yeah,
allowing our subconscious to come through a little bit more so that we can experience all these different things, our dream time and our wake time can be very similar, very similar.
right, right. I love that. Yeah, really, really having that feeling of safety to expand. And that's what will push that new experience even farther, like when you've got the polarities, and the good and the evil, right? And the evil is gone, but now the good is still like hiding over here, right? But now we're expanding out. And in order to do that, you've got to do the practice. You've got to want the lucid dreaming. You've got to want to merge your dreams and your life. Oh, that's my child. Hello, baby. Thank you. And create more from that dream state where you're dreaming the heartfelt dream, the soul connected dreams that you want to create in the world, and just like expand out of there in safety. Still with your basic protections, but I think so many of us have been so deeply protected. I'm just kind of speaking for myself here. I'm like putting that on everyone, like, oh, everybody's so protected. Now, I was very, very, very hardcore in protection mode for a long time, just blocking everybody. So that's a lot of just my experience, like of being able to open up and expand and feel safe.
I've had to get back to communication in my dream state. It is a very different feeling in having a dream. It does feel different. And Carlene and I did a audio book series workshop with on the Akashic records, and I had this dream that absolutely felt like some sort of communication, and that I felt as if I was actually in the Akashic record. I suddenly found myself in this vast room. There was no ceiling. It was so big. And I'm looking around, and it's like a giant library of sorts. And I'm looking around the room, and I realized that something is swirling around at my feet. And slowly I see white taking shape, and then I see wings, and I said, they're angels. And there were these angels that were spinning around me. And when they stopped spinning, there were 4 or 5 beings that were small and all looked exactly alike, except for their clothing was, they had a different shape on the top of their head that distinguished them from each other. And also at the same time, I realized that there is a woman, and she's on this pedestal. It's a very, very, very tall pedestal, and her back is turned to me, and she was green and had red hair and was wearing a cobalt blue sash. And one of the beings, they looked very similar to like the Jawa from Star Wars, put its hand up, but it was really a paw, and put it to mine. And I raised my hand up, and we pressed hands together. And then I woke up. But it really felt like that was a communication of sorts, and that I feel as if the green lady was definitely part of my Akashic record, like the beginning. And so that was just one of my crazy dreams, but I really felt like it was some sort of connection of communication to me.
Absolutely. And, I think I love that you said one of your crazy dreams, because this is terminology that we've been kind of programmed to think throughout our lifetimes, that, oh, that's just, a crazy thing that happened.
Yeah.
But it was true. It was real. And it was tangible, like that it happened, right? So it wasn't just a crazy dream. And I think as we start to experience more and have more of these real tangible experiences, it will become more commonplace where we don't have to automatically use this programmed language to almost dismiss our occurrence or our experience, right?
Right, because it's from disbelief. It's
Yes.
from many years of disbelief,
Mhm.
of having extraordinary experiences and knowing that some other people aren't having them,
Mhm.
and being okay with that too, I guess.
And you used the exact word that I was just going to say about it being extraordinary. And the extraordinary right now is just because we feel like we're in the minority of those who are awakening to these experiences. And it will be so fast that we move into these new times where it becomes ordinary. And I love that. I love that the extraordinary is becoming ordinary in our multidimensional experiences. And dreams are just the beginning. It's the beginning of us allowing the conscious mind or the brain to take a rest so that we can get out there and really truly experience all the different facets and pieces of ourselves that are so expansive, right? And so out there, not just stuck here in this 3D world, waking up, having breakfast, going to work, coming home, having dinner, going to bed, and doing it all over again, right? So there's so much more to life, and experiencing joy and creativity and connection and collaboration with all the other wonderful, amazing people that are waking up to these same things is extraordinary right this moment. But I really truly feel that it's like weeks away, not years away, that this will be ordinary. Don't you feel that?
I feel that for sure. And I'm seeing it happen around me, which I think is also really amazing. Like more
Yeah.
people are open, more people are connected, more people are seeing and feeling like that they're bigger than this body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really, it's really crucial, but it's also, it's just amazing to be on the planet right now and witness it happening.
Truly, truly. And this, just like you said, you're noticing it happening around you. I've been doing this work where I facilitate and coach and do energy medicine for 23 plus years now. And it is just, it's amazing to me to see the amount of people that are contacting me who have maybe just come across me on social media and don't know me personally and are reaching out and be like, I resonate with what you're talking about. I want to connect with you. I want to have a session with you. Can you schedule me? And they don't even know me yet. And it's just because they're experiencing things and they want validation, or they want to know that someone else is also, this is happening with, right?
That's one of the things, like, when I had my very first experiences, there was nobody that I knew to speak to. I mean, I really thought I might be crazy.
And that's what makes it scary, right? Because
that's what makes
nobody
it scary.
else, or they weren't
And
talking about it.
then you start protecting, right?
Mm.
Or
asking for it to stop,
or asking for it to stop. That I never did. I always ask for more. I love it. And even though nobody else could see it at that time, for me, that was like, I still wanted more. I wanted more. I could never get enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I started really asking for more lucid dreaming. And all the stuff that I ever found was in books, and you go into like all the secret societies and you find the information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of negative stuff is in there too. So
there's a lot of negative stuff, but like I always say this: the power is the power.
Mm-hmm.
However you choose to use it is who you are. You can use it to oppress, or you can use it to release.
Yeah.
Service to self or service to others. That's all there is.
Yeah.
You're either in service to self or you're in service to others.
Yeah. But
Perfect.
the information of the how, that the how is the how. And
Yes.
you know, we can call it whatever we want, but that's there. So there's never been you know, obviously a more crucial time for people who are in service to others to have these experiences and practices and gain their own expansion in order to lift the collective.
Mhm.
So what would you say, Carlene and James, to somebody who wanted to lucid dream, who never did it before? What advice would you give them to sort of move forward with that?
Ask for it. At least, I mean, every night when I'm doing my prayer and connection, I ask for what it is that I'm wanting to receive. I ask for the dream or a clarification before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So
I-
like, what would you say exactly, like in your dream, in your prayer process before you go to sleep, like what would you say exactly the words?
It's interesting. I wouldn't say I have an exact way of putting that particular thing, but I just ask for to be open to receive and have connection with beings of light, of love, light, knowledge, compassion, and creativity. And if it's for my highest good and the highest good of all concerned. And then if it is, it's going to happen.
Mhm.
Mm.
I would love to add to that because the words are individual, right? So it's whatever feels good to you and what you specifically want. But there is a way that you can prepare for the occurrence to take place, right? So you can put on some music or some sounds like gamma waves. Gamma waves really will help to open up your subconscious and your multidimensional powers so that you can have these lucid dreams or visitations if you so choose. But since we are talking about dreams, if you wanted to fly in your dreams, if you wanted to experience another timeline, all these different things, we are calling them dreams because that's what we know them to be, but they are multidimensional experiences, real, true, tangible experiences. And if you prepare for the experience, the likelihood that you will have one is exponential, right? It's exponential. So if you can get in that place where you are not so locked down in a protective mode and you're allowing yourself to be open your heart space, have the emotions that are love and joy and bliss and compassion and all the wonderful feelings that we're capable of having, but yet also bring in other ways of preparing, right? So that you're super comfortable, whether you're in bed or you're, you could have an experience laying on the couch or on the floor. You don't have to be in bed, but if you want to have gamma waves or sounds playing in the background, like on a YouTube channel, I think I just came across one the other day with a simple search of gamma wave sounds. And you can put those on and it has like binaural beats. And also just the gamma waves that are literally reprogramming the human being, our biology, to open up to more expansiveness within our cellular makeup, our matrix, our DNA, all of that is truly being upgraded right now. So when we prepare and we get in that place where we're really truly allowing the good things to happen, they will happen, right? And it's just practice. And if it doesn't happen on the first night, don't get all upset and feel frustrated about it. Keep doing it. It's practice. Your body will start to cooperate and open up and allow your subconscious to come through so that you can have a multidimensional experience.
So you asked me, Kristen, what do I say? And I'm
Yes.
going to basically tell you what my nighttime thing is. And I think maybe it might be helpful for some people to have just an outline of whatever. But I always say, dear God, my mother, Father God, my source of all that is, please bless me into usefulness. Help me to help others in some way. Assist me in developing all of my abilities and using them only as you see fit. I desire to know more than I have and more than I do, see more than I have and more than I do, love more than I have and more than I do, and be loved more than I am and more than I have been. Please usher us into a golden era where our cities, our states, and our countries are built on and based on love, a creative love that exists within all of us, a love that each and every one of us has the opportunity and the right to tap into. Source love. And
That's
then
amazing.
Okay, you
I
need
just have
to
say, like my heart is exploding.
you need to
and
put
then
that in the show notes.
and then I will you know, if I have something specific that I would like, I you know, put it
Add
into
that.
there as well. But and also I did cut out all of my thanking because I usually start off with gratitude and I'm in my grateful list.
That's amazing. I think if anyone that hears that, we will definitely put that in the comments and in the description and make sure that people have that, because even if you just read that, right? Because that's a lot to remember. Even if you just had a script where you read that, that will open you up. It was just simply amazing. Like my heart was exploding as you were saying it.
Well, I've shared that with a couple of friends before, and they've said, "Will you write that down for me?" And you know, and I will. But basically, it always changes.
Yes.
But that is the basic outline, and like I said, I'd love to start off with gratitude, and I'm grateful, you know, for my experience. So
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. You know, I love the idea of putting that in the show notes as a little script, or, you know, maybe some sort of, I don't know, opt-in freebie, you know, if you want to get it. Because having that place to jump off of when you don't know what to say, for many people who have never experienced this before, you know, they just, it seems very insurmountable, so they just don't even bother trying. I'm sorry, that's really loud. Can you hear that, all that? Sorry.
it's all right.
Yeah, I think that's really wonderful for the listeners to have that to jump off of. And then, you know, what you can do with that is just tweak it. My nighttime blessing was taken from the Serenity Prayer. And I just tweaked it for my own purposes. So you could take James's nighttime prayer and tweak it a little to your own purpose.
And just for me, it always has to end, or it always ends with, for your highest good and the highest good of all concerned.
I was just going to say the same thing.
You're covered.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys, that is amazing. And I will get that, get this episode transcribed so we can just pull that out and we can make it into some downloadable gift for people. So look for that, because we will have that for you shortly. But other than that, I think that right now, if you guys, audience, if you have any questions or concerns or something is bothering you about a dream that you might have, please put it in the comments. We'll check back and answer any questions that come through.
And if you have a hit on any of our dreams, let us know.
Yeah, tell us what you think. We definitely want to make this Interstellar Chats about community and communication and conversation. So please, let's have this be an open door, an invitation to you to really come in and join the conversation and keep this going, because the more of us that are awake and having these experiences, the more we can easily make the extraordinary ordinary and talk about it with ease with everyone. So also, one more thing I want to say before we close today's episode. If you've learned something and something really grabbed you and it just feels wonderful, don't keep it to yourself. Pass it on. It doesn't matter who you tell, but pass it on, because the more of us doing this work and opening our hearts and expanding our souls to the true capacity we were always meant to have, we will shift into more of a 5D experience instead of being in this very dualistic, heavy place that we're still kind of on and experiencing different shifts right now. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in to Interstellar Chats, and we will be back with you again next week.